Alright, so we're going to be doing a oil change on my wife's 21 Buick Envision. Um, Luckily, we're blessed enough to have access to a full garage here, so we're putting it up on an actual lift. Chevys and General Motors, they're pretty easy to actually lift. Other vehicles, you got to look for certain points, where these are, as long as you got a good pinch weld, you just put them right on the pinch weld, which I'll show here in a minute the lift points we used. So yeah, that's what we are doing currently. These are super easy cars to do oil changes on. All you got to do is use a 3/8 extension for your drain plug. So I think that's kind of cool, even though the little O-rings they use tend to have quality issues. But and there it goes, up in the air. You can peek the Michelin cross climates that we got on there. We love them. Change that car completely for the winter. Alright, here we are, just kind of watching it go up. It's more of like a heavy duty hoist, so it takes a minute to actually get the car up in the air here, but alright, here's where I'm showing the points we used. That one kind of got cockeyed because of that mold that's down there, the mold in the frame. It's kind of like goes outward, so it kind of formed its angle it wanted right there. I kind of missed it perfectly. But yeah, depending on your hoist or what you're using to lift it, just kind of like that, as long as you got a bite on that pinch weld. And here I'm just kind of looking over the car overall, checking rear differential, exhaust, the drive shaft, which looks great. You can see a little bit of oil residue there. It's coming from the oil pan. We've been fighting a seep on the RTV gasket that they use there. Yeah, just kind of looking, checking everything over real quick. You can see that drain plug right there too, that square. You just kind of put your extension right into that. Super easy here. Here I'm showing the tools. I kind of like that long reach ratchet sort of deal. The little dude there, the extension, we used to kind of like install the drain plug at the end with our hand, because it's not really a drain plug that tightens. It more or less just kind of like fits in there. Forgot to mention there, the oil cap is off. It's going to increase the flow of the oil once your drain plug's out. Kind of gets messy, but it ensures that you're going to get all the oil out, or at least majority of it. The longer one here, as you see, I kind of just like that one more or less, because you can avoid that spill right there. Get your hand away from it, kind of. At least your tools don't need lubricated. You kind of get that done all in one here. And then you'll see that other device with the tools. It's super handy. Kind of helps you grab a hold of that oil filter to remove it easier. That one right there I kind of just showed in frame again. Telling her here to wipe the extension off, and here we'll inspect that drain plug, just because of that gasket I was talking about. This is actually already our second drain plug. We kind of just buy the whole thing, because you can buy a whole drain plug for like $6, or the O-ring itself for $4. So I just purchased a whole new one. Buick's, yeah, this is that little oil filter tool I was telling you about. It's kind of a cool design. We should have probably waited to put the extension on till it had a bite on there, because you can see here she kind of struggles here to get it around the filter itself. She's never done an oil change herself, so I was kind of showing her what it takes to do her own, being how simple this one actually is. But yeah, the Buick's got like 70 something thousand miles on it right now, so oil pan seeping, and had to replace that drain plug. Otherwise, it's been relatively a really good car. I tell her here, just kind of go slower till you basically feel like you could take it off with your hand, and then she proceeds to still go slow, taking it off the rest of the way, just to kind of avoid the dropping it, and causing a bigger mess than we already made. And now here we're just kind of letting the overflow come out. Again, just so you don't make a huge mess or accidentally drop it. There, I was just looking at the CV boots, checking them all out, looking for any obvious like tears and bushings or any weird scenarios going on. Everything looked really good though still. Checking that flex pipe right there. GMs are really bad about those giving out. So kind of just giving it a visual inspection. Rear diff super dry, which is always a good thing. Looking at the CV boot again. You're just kind of inspecting all the lines and everything that run to the back. For oil type, we're using OW20 by Mobil 1 with an AC Delco oil filter. Sometimes we'll use a Mobil 1 oil filter, but AC Delco, as many oil changes as we do to this car a year, I mean, AC Delco is just fine for it. Some people even really like the Purulators, but if I'm going to go cheaper, I just stick to AC Delco and I don't go any cheaper than that. Here, I just kind of explaining to her that you always want to check out when you take that oil filter off. Make sure the gasket doesn't stay behind, and make sure you kind of just clean that surface off a little bit, just so your next oil filter seals nicely. Filter, if you go with the AC Delco, is a PF66. That's what I'm showing right there. When she goes to install this, I'm telling her, go ahead and just twist it on there. It kind of starts to get, you always want to make sure you lubricate your gasket as well. That's what she's doing. Just grab some old oil that's dripping out of it. But yeah, here she's starting to cross thread it a little bit, so I tell her you got to take it back off. Kind of a trick to installing an oil filter is just let it kind of sit on your hand and slowly just start turning it. It's going to guide itself up. It will kind of learn its threads and know comfortably how it wants to go up. You don't have to force it or start tightening it yourself and pushing it. It'll kind of guide its way up there itself. That way you don't cross thread it. And here I am just making sure that we do get it wrist tight. You don't want it crazy tight or anything, but just because it'll naturally get hot and cold, and it could be super difficult to get off the next time. So yeah, just wrist tight. I mean, tight as your wrist can kind of go there. I just have her kind of double check it so she can feel for next time kind of how it felt. Now I'm just doing this, you don't have to, but I'm kind of just wiping it around to make sure there's not any dirt or debris or anything. So here's that little extension I was telling you about. Yeah, these obviously aren't going to tighten in there. You kind of just want to guide it onto there, and then you'll see where the little teeth kind of sit. She wasn't getting it, so I kind of just try it here. Had it in a little weird spot. You'll see it kind of sits in there like that, and then it'll actually spin right there. This part definitely isn't necessary, but I did grab the ratchet just to kind of give it a little bit of a turn, making sure that that tooth is sitting there, so that O-ring isn't putting in extra work or anything. So like I said, it's not going to tighten, so I'm not sitting here tightening it. I'm more or less just making sure it's sitting where it should be. Now just kind of simple footage of us lowering it, showing her how the hoist works on this one. We're used to a hoist where you have to raise it up and then pull out little cables that stick out from the sides that release those teeth. But this one has an actual handle that'll release the teeth and keep them back while you're lowering it. Kind of cool. Just kind of overall just taking in mental notes while it's lowering, looking around the car, seeing anything that you couldn't see from a different angle. So here we're going to go ahead and put in that Mobil 1 OW20. I'm kind of explaining to her because I know the 5-quart jugs are heavy. Kind of explaining that it's hard to do, but you should hold the funnel while you're putting the oil in it. Right now I'm poking the foil off of the top of the 5-quart jug here, so that's kind of why we're just staring at the motor. But yeah, I probably could have trimmed this video. It didn't need to be that long for you. Alright, so here we go. I'm explaining to her that the way this engine's designed, it's kind of got to go in really slow because it hits something on the top there and will start coming right out from between the funnel and the engine. And it does end up doing that on us because we went a little too fast. Right there you can see it coming through. So I'm like, oh, slow down. So easy fix, just wipe it up, but you definitely have to go slow if you're pouring in a 5-quart jug. The 1-quarts are much easier. And that's about the speed you're going to want to put your oil in. Unfortunately, it does take a few minutes, but probably didn't mention the capacity of it is 5.3, so we kind of just throw in this whole 5-quart and then we go about just under half of the 1-quart. Alright, there's that one 5-quart jug down. And just the other maintenance that we've done on this. We put those tires on, and then we had to do a transmission fluid service. It didn't have to, but GM says to at least do it by 60,000 miles and then 30,000 mile intervals after. So we did do that at 62,000, I believe. You can see that the Mobil ones actually have like a see-through kind of bar on the side there. So that's what she's kind of looking at. She's pouring it in. We're about half here, so just call it good. And there's our mess from the oil spill. We're kind of just wiping it off. There may have been some on the side there too, but we weren't too worried about it. Just kind of checking the dipstick here. Might be a micro tad over. Like I said, we did about half. It's rated for 5.3. As it runs and gets oil into the oil filter and such, I mean, it will probably be perfect. There I am shutting the hood. Alright, here we are kind of explaining how to reset your oil life. It's got this like wheel design. You'll scroll that actual wheel down depending on where you're at on your current screen. Basically until you see the oil life right there. Now you want to push in that wheel. Now it's going to ask you. So the wheel now you won't use. You'll actually push the arrow. I'm showing you right here. You'll push the arrow till it says yes. Just click in the scroll wheel again and you are good. It's kind of cool here. I'm showing that it has an air filter life rating. I'm sure that just goes off of time and mileage and stuff. So I can't actually tell. Yeah, so here we are at the car wash. That's the last thing that we got to do. And here, if you have a Buick Envision, you probably know, but I always think this is cool that GM brought back the actual heads-up display. I love that. Alright, so enjoy some B footage of the car coming out of the car wash. Be sure to like, share, subscribe if it helped, and thank you so much for watching.